Here's how Schedule F works. Traditionally, most federal employees are civil servants. They're hired based on merit, they're protected from political retaliation, and they can't be fired just because a new president doesn't like their politics. This system was designed to create a professional, nonpartisan federal workforce. The idea was that regardless of which party controlled the White House, the day-to-day work of government would be carried out by competent professionals who serve the country, not the party in power. But Schedule F changes all of that. It reclassifies thousands of federal employees as political appointees, which means, they can be fired at will by the president or his designees. And guess who gets to decide which employees gets reclassified and which ones gets fired? Sergio Boy. Yep, Sergio Gore does. Schedule F gives Sergio Gore the power to fire thousands of federal employees and replace them with Trump loyalists. EPA scientists who believe in climate change, gone. DOJ lawyers who believe in the rule of law, gone. CIA analysts, who provide intelligence that contradicts Trump's worldwide view, also gone. It's a bloodless bureaucratic coup, and Sergio Gore is the one carrying it out. Critics call it the end of nonpartisan government. They say it will turn the federal workforce into a patronage system where jobs are handed out based on political loyalty rather than competence. Sergio Gore calls it efficiency. But here's what's really remarkable about Sergio Gore's rise to power. He's done all this while avoiding the kind of scrutiny that usually comes with high-level government positions. As of June 2025, Sergio Gore still hasn't filed his SF-86 form. Now, this is the mandatory disclosure form that requires federal employees to reveal their foreign ties, their financial relationships, their potential conflicts of interest. Go figure. Every other senior government official has to file this form. It's a basic requirement for getting a security clearance, but somehow Sergio Gore has managed to avoid that. Why? According to sources familiar with his thinking, Gore considers the SF-86 form a deep state trap. Really? He believes that requiring government officials to disclose their backgrounds is a part of a conspiracy to undermine Trump's presidency. Oh, so the fact that you purchased it wasn't enough. Now you really got to pervert it. Okay, so the man who controls 4,000 federal appointments, who has the power to fire thousands of civil servants, who shapes American policy at the highest levels, refuses to undergo the same background checks that is required of even an entry-level government employee. Nobody seems to be able to do anything about it either. But the mystery of Sergio Gore goes deeper than just his refusal to file paperwork. In 2016, some intrepid internet researchers discovered something interesting. Sergio Gore's email password was linked to a Russian national named Sergei Goryachev. So, let me do my phonics here. Sergei Goryachev. Get my mouth around that Russian name there. Now, that could be a coincidence. Right, and I was born a natural blonde. Maybe Sergio Gore just happened to choose a password that was similar to someone else's name. Maybe it was a random string of characters that happened to match a Russian's name. But when the story started to gain traction online, something interesting happened. Poof, it disappeared. The original posts were deleted. The researchers who made the discovery stopped talking about it. The story vanished from the internet as if it never existed. Man, don't you wish some of your pictures could have that same process happen to them? Certain things that you've written could have that same process happen to them? Interesting. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's the kind of coincidence that makes you wonder who has the power to make inconvenient stories disappear. And it raises the question, what else about Sergio Gore's past has been made to disappear? We know that Malta's deputy prime minister has confirmed that someone named Sergio Gore attended school in Malta who also speaks fluent Maltese. But there is some connection to Malta, even if the birth records don't exist. But we also know that former associates whisper about his origins in the former Soviet bloc. We know that his name changed from Sergei Gorovsky to Sergio Gore. We know that he has gone to extraordinary lengths to hide his past. So, who is Sergio Gore really? Is he KGB? Was he planted in American politics decades ago and now is finally activated? Is he a grifter who has been playing the ultimate long game, reinventing himself over and over until he reached the pinnacle of American power? Is he simply an ambitious immigrant who is being willing to do whatever it takes to succeed in American politics? We may never know. I'm going to tell you something right now. My intuition, my instinct tells me, yes, we will know. And when it comes out, boy, oh boy, oh boy, you better hope that your grocery store has enough popcorn for this particular drama. Sergio Gore has been too careful, too thorough in erasing his tracks. But here's what we do know. His power is terrifyingly real. So yeah, we get to put on our big girl and big boy panties and we get to deal with this drama in addition to the other drama of the imposter in the White House. The Prince of Mar-a-Lago whispering in Trump's ear while holding a dagger labeled Schedule F. He controls who gets hired and who gets fired across the entire federal government. He's turning the American bureaucracy into a spoiled system where loyalty to Trump is the only qualification that matters. And he's doing it all from the shadows, avoiding scrutiny, refusing transparency, operating in the darkness that he's created around his own past. In democracies, we demand transparency from power. We insist that those who govern us must be accountable to us. We require that public servants serve the public, not their own interest or the interests of their patrons. But Sergio Gore thrives in an absence of transparency. He builds his entire career on opacity. In other words, it's opaque, it's blurry, it's dark, you can't see through it. He builds it on misdirection and on the careful cultivation of mystery. He's erased his past, weaponized patronage, and turned the bureaucracy into an instrument of personal loyalty, all while dodging the security checks that he enforces on others. You have to admit, that shit is ironic. And every time other disloyal officials disappear from the federal government, every time other civil servants get fired for insufficient enthusiasm for Trump's agenda, every time another qualified candidate gets blocked because of ancient political donations. Remember this name, Sergio Gore. And that's G-O-R. He is not just staffing the government, he's remaking in the shadows. He's not just implementing Trump's agenda, he's defining what the agenda means in practice. He's not just serving the president, he's becoming the mechanism through which presidential powers operates. And he's doing it all while remaining invisible to most Americans, unknown to most voters, unaccountable to most oversights. You have to admit, that shit's genius. Sergio Gore's approach to power is genius. He's figured out how to be the most powerful person in government while remaining the least visible. He's the ghost in Trump's machine, and the ghosts, as we all know, are hard to exercise. Well, not really. We have had enough of the Exorcist remake, so we do know how to exercise people. And also, too, the learning curve is really not that hard. All we need to do is pay attention to what others have done before and copy that method. It's really not that hard. But here's what I want you to remember. Ghosts only have power in the darkness. Turn on the lights and they disappear. So the question is, are we going to turn on the lights? Are we going to demand transparency from the man who controls 4,000 plus federal appointments? Are we going to insist on accountability from the person who is remaking the American government? Are we going to shine a spotlight on the ghost who's operating in our name, with our tax dollars, in our supported interests? Because if we don't, If we let Sergio Gore continue to operate in the shadows, then we are not just allowing one man to accumulate unprecedented power. We're allowing the transformation of American government from a public trust to a private fiefdom. And once that transformation is complete, it may be impossible to reverse. The ghost in Trump's machine isn't just changing who works for the federal government. He's changing what that federal government is. And that should terrify all of us. I am Allison, for Allison Knows. Some ghosts haunt houses, others haunt democracies. The question is whether we are brave enough to turn on the lights. Please like, share, subscribe, and become a member of Allison Knows, and then we get to call you Know-It-Alls. This is Allison signing off from Allison Knows. Have a good evening. I hope this scared you into action. I hope it did.